Well guys, the last video on the Swift. So yeah, that's right. This is going to be probably the last video on the Suzuki Swift Sport because I've sold it. So yeah, I've sold it to my mum. She wants it for my brother for his first car. A Suzuki Swift Sport for your first car. I would have been over the moon with that back when I was 18. So the car is staying here on the driveway. I don't know how long, to be honest. It's going to be here till my brother's passed his test. I think my mum's going to use the car for a bit. That's what she's going to do, I'm guessing, to keep it running. So in this video, what I'm going to be doing is servicing it. There is a few jobs still to do. It's got a cracked window, it needs tracking, 2 tyres on the front and a brake pipe. She knows that, I've told her, and we've come up with a price and she's paid it. So the car is no longer mine. It's off the road, it's sawned, it's staying here until they take it basically. So what does that mean for the channel? I'm going to be working on the TT a lot more. I've ordered the water pump, all the bits needed to fit that, so that's going to be a big job. Good video hopefully for you guys who want to change your water pump and thermostat housing, because it is a common problem. I've got to get to the bottom of the smoking situation. We're going to hunt down and hopefully find the smoking problem, and in the new year I'm planning on sticking air ride on it. I've just insured it again with green lights, so big shout out to the guys there for hooking me up with some car insurance. I did have a problem getting car insurance because when my car got broken into last year, oh no, it was this year actually, it got broken into this year, it went down as a claim when I was told it wouldn't. Admiral have seen me off there a bit, but managed to get it an alright price with green light, and everything's declared modifications, of course. This is what we got here. We got the oil filter, pollen filter, 4 spark plugs and some Manol 5W30. Manol are normally pretty good, I do like using them. Now that air filter in there, I don't know if you can see, it looks absolutely disgusting, so I might take it off, give it a clean out, dust it off a bit, but we need to change the spark plugs, which are going to be under this cover. First thing I'm going to do, get the car in the air, get it safe, of course. This should be pretty easy. Everything else has been easy on this Swift, so I'm hoping this will be easy, guessing it will. The oil filter looks like it hasn't been serviced in about 15 years. Just gonna whack a disc under the back wheel. Hopefully don't roll over that. Right, let's jack it up and get it on axle stands quick. We're going straight underneath here like this. Straight onto the subframe. No fucks given. Trying to get that TT of mine in the air. Need a degree in science to get that up because it's so bloody low. It's probably the handbrake making that noise. Make sure to get your axle stands underneath. For everyone who knows me, and you know I suffer with a bad spine. It's no different today. My back is in absolute bits. This should be high enough. Let's drop it down. So that's high enough for what we need. So the first thing I need to do, check where the drain plug is, which it's there. There's the oil filter there. See how rusty it is on the top. That ain't been done in a while. It's just a big bolt that. Looks like a 17. Everything seems to be 17 on this car. And over 17 for that. And we'll put this under for if it overflows, which it shouldn't do. There's not much oil in this little engine. This is just for any mess or anything. Hopefully that prevents it. And this is for me knees, because I don't want bad knees as well as a bad spine. Quick sip of a cup of tea ski. So I'm well excited for. Well, I'm excited. I can't wait to work on the TT, do the thermostat. It's quite a big job. And when you do like a big job and you're actually successful, you feel good. I'm looking forward to it. Next week, hopefully. Here we have the oil drain bucket and my old TT sump nut in there still. I need to try and do this while getting it on my bloody hands. Oh. There we go. I'm just going to allow that to drain now, and then we'll get the oil filter off once it's done. Very black. It looks like a diesel oil. Oh, can I get up? Whilst I allow the oil to fully drain, I'm going to let it drain like properly because it's probably not been changed in a long time. We're going to go ahead and do the spark plugs. We're going to take, it looks like these 2 bolts and these 2 bolts here. 8mm. Yeah, so these 4 bolts on here are 8mm. So we're going to undo them and take this cover off here, and that should reveal the coils, hopefully. Now that's off, we've revealed the coils. These are big. I don't know what these are for. These are for like the variable valve timing or whatever it's called. Is that what they're for, the bigger ones? I don't know. So I'm guessing we've got to get all this off. I'll do one at a time. Do this one, do that one, that one, that one. So we're going to pop this one out now. Hopefully we just pull it out. That's the funniest looking little coil I've ever seen. I've never seen one like that. Check down inside there, just to obviously make sure there's no shit, because when you take the plug out, you don't want oil or whatever. If you've got something down there like a gasket leaking or something, don't want anything to go down into the cylinder. That's why you check down there before you take the spark plug out. So I'm going to go and take this one out now. So what we use for the spark plug, it's a 10mm CRV, but it's not a 10mm, it's bigger, but it has like a little rubber grommet inside that grabs the spark plug. So we put that down there and we just twist and get the plug out basically. That one's quite blackish, would you say? Blackish on the end of there. I think that's running rich. think that's what you'd call that. The actual tip looks alright, it's just around the edges. But again, I don't know how long these have been in here for. Putting them back in, you want to just put a little bit of copper slip on it and then literally just put it back in. Don't over tighten them. Once I've completed that, literally just pop the coil back in. Make sure it's flushed all the way in, which it is. Now we can get on to the next one, which is the bigger one. Actually, you're probably gonna have to leave that out because I just noticed this one sits over the top of this one. So I'm going to undo these two bolts here. These two are 10 mils on here, so we're going to get 10 mil now. Take them off and pull that coil off. We got this one off, literally just the same as what I did with the first one, but you can do this with all four, so you don't really need to watch this. So what I did on the first one, they were on all four plugs now changed. They all look pretty much the same, which is very good. So they all look pretty much the same on the ends, which is good. They don't look like they've been changed in a while because they're very black on the threads. So obviously put a little bit of copper grease on the threads. Do not get anything on the ends, obviously, where the sparking happens, otherwise you'll end up with misfires or something. But now just need to put coils back in and all this back together, then I can get on with the oil. So we'll get this back together now. Just like that, back on. Now we can go underneath. That's literally dripping tiny bit now. We can grab our sump nut and whack it back in. Nip that up with the 17 that we took it off with and move that out the way. Just going to crack that up, don't go crazy with it. And then I'm going to get some brake cleaner and clean the residue. Give it a spray. An old glove that I'll use to just wipe it. Brake cleaner is literally your best mate on a car. You can use it on pretty much cleaning everything. So we're going to leave the car in the air because obviously when I top it up I need to make sure there's no leaks. But now we need to take this off the oil filter. This is what I use to get this type of filter off. Some filter pliers. Pretty handy bit of kit. And you're just going to undo it. Oil should start leaking out because obviously there's oil in this. Probably going to get oil all over me here. There we go, just let that drip for a minute because I don't want that all over my hands. So I'm going to take the old one off and whack it straight into the new one's container basically. So let's get that off and then whack it in there. Pour out the oil because there's going to be oil inside. Pour it out and then just whack it in that box and then put the new one on. When you get your new filter, check the top of it because as you can see here there's like a plastic film, and I have seen videos recently of people not taking that off and screwing it on. You're gonna have all sorts of problems doing that. Just make sure you take that plastic cover off. You see it, it's just wrapped around. Take it off. Just looking around the rim where the old oil filter was, I can see it's quite crusty. So again, I'm gonna use some of my brake cleaner, clean that up for a nice seal on here. Before you put the oil filter on, fill this up with the clean oil before you put it on. I'm gonna grab a splash of the old oil coming out onto my finger, and then around the top of the seal, just lubricate it basically with the old oil. Make sure you lubricate this, and then that's ready to go back on now. So just grab it and screw it on hand tight. So you want to just whiz that up only to hand tight. So you want to do it as tight as you can really with your hand. And again, brake cleaner, clean up the mess. Now we're going to take our manual oil and fill the Swift up. So from a service fill, because obviously there's still a little bit of old oil residue in there, it says 3.7 litres. So I'm going to aim for 3.7 and obviously just keep an eye on the dipstick when we get close to that. So what I use here, I use a little jug here, just helps me with a cleaner pour basically, because I haven't got no funnel neck on this. Can be a bit of a pain in the ass. So yeah, just going to fill this up and then whack it in the car. There we go. So we just pour this in and we keep doing this until we hit 3.7 litres like it said, and then we check the level just to see where we're at. We're at about 3.5 litres now. The dipstick is on the level, so it's just below the top dot, which is where we want it at on this car. So I'm going to give it a start up now, let it run for a second. Obviously check underneath for any leaks on the oil filter. The actual sump nut's not leaking, which is good, I've already checked that. And then once we've done that, we can get the car back on the ground and just make sure everything's clean here. I'm going to strip this off here just to clean the filter off as much as I can. But yeah, we're looking good at the minute, so we're just going to start it now. We'll let the oil circulate and then see if we need to add a little bit more, but we should be alright I think. Whilst it's running, I'm just going to check, make sure that filter's not leaking. Oh, my slippers, got my safety slippers on, obviously. So just keeping an eye on the filter, don't see any leaks coming off it. So we got no leaks. I did spill a little bit of oil on the exhaust, as you can see. Just burning it off just there. So I just need to keep an eye on that to make sure no fires occur, but that should just burn off when the exhaust gets hot. So as you can see here, this is why you start it and then check it, because oil level has gone down, so we need a little bit more in there. So we'll top that up now, and then that's the oil change done. Swift's now back on the floor. We can focus on checking this air filter here. So we got the little air intake off, and there's not really much I can do with it. It's pretty rusty, as you can see. That's been on there a while. If I had an air compressor, I could probably blow it out, but it could do with a new one. So I'm just going to clean it out the best I can, get all the big bits out of it, and then put it back on, and there's nothing else I can do with it, really. It's all back together now. Not much I can do with that, to be honest. That's the problem with aftermarket stuff. Like, once the filters go like that, you've got to replace the actual filter, and they're not as easy to get hold of as just a standard one. The only other thing we got left to do is the pollen filter, or the cabin filter. Now, I don't know where this is, so I'm going to have a little look right now. So to get to the cabin filter, it's just sitting in this little black thing here. It's hard to see. It's in there. You can see when you pull this off. So to get this off, it's literally just pull in on each side, each corner of it, just pull in, and then you just got to get this past the grooves here. There's no bolts, just got to do that. That is all. Pretty easy. So this is what you got to take off. Got like a little lever on the side. It's best to get it from the left hand side. Just pull it and then come off, and then get the other side off, and then you can pull out your cabin filter, which, wow, that has not been changed in a long time. That is absolutely minging. That's why you need to change that. So we're going to be changing that. There's a lot of leaves in there, so we're just going to get them out of the car. Just caught my ass on the metal bar coming out the car. I just caught it on that there. Oh, welly. Probably got a bleeding bum cheek now. So we're going to get a new one. Get our new one here. Get it open. It has an arrow on it, show you which way it goes. And then pop it all back together, simple as that. That is literally that job done. So I'm just going to put the glove box back in, then I'll pick the camera up. Glove box back in. Such a simple car to service. That's it done. The only other thing you'll do, obviously check your levels, top up your washer fluids, like stuff like in here, your hinges and stuff. You just spray some clear grease on them to lubricate them. Check the tyre pressures, and just, it would be a general check of the car as well, the brakes. Obviously I know all that's good because I've recently done it all. Also you'd grease your battery terminals here. Some clear grease, not too much, just a little bit, and your hinges. I'm not going to bother because they're wrecked anyway. But that's it. Check your wipers as well. Just a general check of the car on the service. Pretty straightforward stuff. So that's it. All I got to do now is pack up and park the car back in the corner, and it'll sit here now till my mum decides she takes it. So that's it. That's the car done. I'm going to pack these away. Didn't take too many tools either, it was pretty simple. But yeah, just going to park the car up now, and then that'll be the end of the video. Thanks for watching, hope it's useful for anyone looking to service their Swift. And I'll catch you in the next one. Next video will be thermostat and water pump on my TT. It's going to be a big job.